What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Richie's character in Scream 2022. This is a character that I've talked about quite a bit in all videos, really regarding things that aren't Richie related, but because I'm trying to do some of these character breakdowns, right? We're going through some of these characters for Scream 2022. I want to talk about him because he was an amazing character the first time I watched the movie, at least in my head, and then when I rewatched the movie, in my kind of second review, I had said some characters moved up, some characters kind of stayed the same, some maybe moved down a little bit, and I think Richie really stood out as probably him and Liv, I would say. Watching it a second time, him and Liv moved up the most, and the thing with both of them, really, but also I would say Richie a little bit more, is that I already had very high opinions on both these characters. Now, Liv is different, right? We did the video on her. She's just not in it a lot, right? There's only the ceiling for her. It can only be so high because of her limited screen time. Richie, though, I don't remember the rating I had. I really should go back and look at that thing, right? I ranked every character in this movie, and I think I probably put Richie in the top 3. I'd imagine that. And I would still put him probably in the exact same spot. I feel like he should go at number 2, personally. I think Tara is number 1, and then he would be number 2. And if I didn't put him there before, I probably would put him there now, because he is incredible. Like, Jack Quaid is really good. I don't actually even watch too many things that Jack Quaid was in, but I knew of him. I knew, that was a pretty substantial person that was going to be in, this film. And I would say this, specifically even the second time, because, you're kind of analyzing every scene. You're analyzing if they're trying to, like, can you kind of tell that there's something awry, right, with what's going on? And I feel like, I don't know how to exactly put it, but I felt disappointed that he was the killer much more the second time than I did the first time. And I guess what I mean by that, not really in any negative way, like, oh, the movie messed up. Now, okay, like, there was the going into it, like, I predicted that. I knew it was Richie and Amber. We had said that, and that turned out to be true, right? So, like, the element of surprise wasn't exactly there. I do think it's not blatantly obvious, but it's one of the most obvious, if not the most obvious, of any of the Scream movies of who the killers are, in my opinion. I think it's one of the easily one of the most easy telegraphed kind of ones. But in terms of disappointment, it's because I didn't want him to be the killer, right? I think that's actually, because, when you see that on paper, or when you read a rumor, or when you just literally predict going in, and you say, you know what, Richie's probably the killer, and it's like, but you only see him, for like 20 seconds in the trailer, right? So you really don't have a sense of his personality, who he is, what he's going to be doing in the movie, right? Just the vibe he gives off. And then when you watch the movie, you're like, oh shoot, he's actually incredibly likable, right? He's very funny. He's very kind of sincere. He's there for Sam. Like, he's not only like just a really good person, like personality wise, but he's also just, again, like, I think he's insanely likable, and one of the better characters, one of the better leads in any of the Scream movies. I would fully believe that. I mean, obviously, I think some of that has to do with the writing, some of it has to do with the acting, the portrayal of that character, but I really bought it. And I think that's something that, and again, like I had said that before, right, where I was watching and it's like, okay, I want him to not be the killer. Please give the killer to somebody else, and then he's the killer. It's like, all right. But like, even the second time, it's like, man, he's so good. He's funny in terms of, like, he doesn't know these movies, and he just makes kind of very witty and very kind of funny one-liners, right? A lot of his one-liners are very good. He's smart, right? He's smart, but he's also kind of clueless because he's kind of learning the rules as they go. But I think he just does. And then I guess you have the connection with Sam, and even even with like Dewey and stuff. Like, there's just a lot of amazing scenes. I really think, much like how Tara, and that's what, honestly, and I've said this before, why Sam just didn't hit for me as well, and she does hit for me better as the movie goes on, right? I have said that. But I actually think something that hurts her, and maybe it's a Melissa Barrera problem, maybe it's a Sam problem, is that she really gets outshined in almost every scene she's in, and maybe that's not her fault because the other characters are so good. Whenever she's with Tara, I feel for Tara more. Whenever she's with Richie, I'm like paying more attention to Richie than I am Sam. Does that make sense? So, I don't want to make this a bashing Sam video because, again, I don't actually hate her character. It's not like I don't like her character. I do like her character, but it's just funny when I think about Richie. again, he kind of steals all his scenes. I just kind of find, oh, it's funny that, when he's with Sam, he steals the scenes. When Tara is with Sam, Tara steals the scenes. So it's kind of hard for Sam to shine when you have these two really, good characters with her at all times. Or Dewey is there, right? So on, so on. But no, I guess that's kind of the thing that made me believe, or the thing that made me realize, I guess, how much I cared about him was that second viewing. I would say that was that second viewing, and watching it and just saying, this is such a good character. And then, and really, a thing too is like he sells it right to the end, Now again, like, wow, the writing is kind of on the walls, and it's like, all right, well, like, why is he in the closet, calling and all that stuff, or like, well, you don't know that, I guess, for sure, right? But like the signs are definitely there throughout the whole thing. Getting sliced on the arm in the hospital. Obviously, watching the second time, I know a lot of people saw it the first time and I did too, but you kind of like laser focus in. He shows a lot of concern in the hospital when when Amber gets like shot and she's like laying there unconscious. He shows like a lot of signs for concern for her that, make it kind of blatantly obvious. So while there were those things, the fact of, when he gets shot, and then he's like, it'd be easier if you didn't shoot me in the leg or whatever, trying to get the gun, and then Sam gets it, and he said, and even when he says like, yes, like, I felt the same way. Does that make, like, when he's excited that Sam got the gun and like we won, like the good guys won, and he kind of cheers for that, I felt that too. I'm like, sweet. And then immediately, right, then he does the knife, and it's like, oh, I really think that was a great moment. I really do. I even like him. Now the thing is, right, and I've said this before, Amber, the shift between being kind of normal and then being, a lunatic, the lunatic part is what really, I think, helps her, like her character, her ranking, or like my ranking of that character. Richie, I do like him as a kind of maniac, right? He's a little bit more, he kind of goes on and off, right? He's got a little bit more of like a crazy streak as well, but he can kind of pull himself back a little bit too. But I would say it wasn't as impressive as just other characters in the past. But I almost think maybe it's because like I liked him so much as just a normal, everyday person, that when he becomes a lunatic, and it's how can fans be toxic? It's like, all right, and again, I liked it. I don't think there was anything wrong with him being insane. I like even when he got stabbed and he said like, what about my ending and all that stuff, like all that was awesome. I really do believe that, but I would say it wasn't better than his character and character arc throughout the rest of the movie, whereas Amber's, I think Amber, the lunatic self, very clearly outdid her normal self. I would say Richie, the normal self, outdid his lunatic self. But again, that's not saying I didn't like it, because I would still say he's like my second favorite character in the entire movie. So it sucks. It sucks to see a character that you like so much go. I think they could have honestly done, and again, we've talked about this. These are these missed opportunities that you can talk about, and they're entertaining to talk about, and we don't know if they would actually end up working or not, right? If they go based off of us versus going based off of what they want to do. But what would it have been like, if Richie made it and Richie wasn't the killer, and you went into the next movie, maybe it was Sam, maybe you take out Chad and replace, and have, I guess, him die and Richie survive. Obviously, you'd have to find the other Ghostface, but say you went into the next movie with like Sam, Richie, Tara, and maybe Mindy, right? And those are your kind of four. What's that like? What's that like, having a character like Richie and the personality that he displayed in this movie? What's it like having this relationship with Sam, or this relationship, I guess, in general, that lasts more than one movie, right? Because really throughout this entire time, I guess the longest relationship would be, Dewey and Gale, but even that now is over, and Sydney and Mark, right? If you go from like 3 and then, but like he wasn't in 4, and there was no signs of her being married. So I'm going to assume that she wasn't. And, I know the lineage there would actually be kind of weird to play around in, right? But I would have liked to see that. What is a relationship like? 2 movies, like back to back. What's that like? And I think that would have been cool. And again, I don't know if it would have worked. It's just an interesting, idea to kind of bring up. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you guys are subscribed to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. If you want to follow me anywhere else, all my social media is in the description below, along with our Patreon and YouTube memberships. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you all on the next video.